Hello, classmates. My name is Katrina Sheely. I teach 11th grade English, which is American literature at Columbia High School. This is a picture of me and some of my seniors. I actually don't have any pictures of my juniors, but these seniors are still pretty cute. Okay, so my two college and career readiness standards that I chose, the first one was Author's Choice, and the second one has to do with evaluating U.S. seminal texts, which is pretty specific to 11th grade. Juniors not only take American literature, but they also take U.S. history and take a state benchmark test at the end of their year. So I tried to choose material that supports that state test. For my text set and readability, I chose The Great Gatsby as my anchor text because this is what we're currently reading in my junior class. As far as readability, it is right on cue for themes. These guys get murder and adulterous affairs and parties all night and massive amounts of money. They get that. The vocabulary in here is above their reading level. We spend a lot of time trying to understand words through context, root words, just figuring out some of the language. The other text that I chose is Dashiell Hammett's Red Harvest. This was written in the same time period, but actually written in the 50s. And it is a contrast to Gatsby because the characters are very flat and predictable. The book is like an easy read, the plot's easy to follow, but it's similar because it's in the same time period and the action moves quickly the way that Gatsby does. My other two choices are the 18th Amendment, which is basically the banning of alcohol and what started the Prohibition. And the last piece is a really cool speech from President Coolidge that was actually given to Thomas Edison at an awards ceremony in 1928. My vocabulary words are a combination of themes and words that I thought were pertinent for juniors to know, things that they might run across in dialogue or in other texts. The two strategies that I use go hand in hand. I do a speed research background group project at the beginning of all of my reading projects where students get into groups. They're given a topic like modernism in the 1920s. They're given question prompts and 30 minutes to come up with a Google presentation. And they basically teach each other the background information that's important. Next, we move into vocabulary words. I use the Sheely Freyer model as an adaptation of Mr. Wall, my mentor's model at work. He uses pictures, but I try to do a group prediction instead, where the children try to come up with why they think that an author might use this word in the book, even though we haven't read it yet, because they have the background information for it. The liminary passages were impossible to come up with only 3, but I did it. The 3 that I chose are pretty iconic for the book. The first one is where we first meet Gatsby or see him through Nick's perspective. And he is reaching out across the bay at the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. In my opinion, this may be the only time that we ever see Gatsby in a true state. The second is where we are meeting Mr. Wolfshine, and I just love the dialogue where it says that he swallows a new sentence and that he was starting and lapsed into a somnambulatory abstraction. Fitzgerald just uses wonderful adjectives there. And the third is the murder scene, which inevitably you read and get to the next page and realize you didn't even read it. You have to stop and go back. Fitzgerald just really paints an image there that almost glosses over the murder of Gatsby. For my discussion questions, I again went into 3 different directions for the sake of the project. The first one is a character comparison between Tom Buchanan and Thomas Edison. The second one is symbolism in the 2 novels of the color green. And the third one is a theme of the Prohibition, which actually spans all 4 pieces and almost identifies the Roaring Twenties. So some of the comprehension strategies that I listed here I've already discussed. One thing that I don't know if there's actually a name for it, but I like for my students to go back and find those big full sentences, like in the second passage that I had for the liminary passages, and just take out all the adjectives and to write it as plain as possible, and then compare that to how beautifully written we see that the author put his words together. This really goes back to showing them that standard of author choice and their craft. I really enjoyed this assignment. It was pretty challenging. I think I would change some things if I was just leaving it for my class, but for the sake of this assignment, that I tried to kind of cover the span of things that we've discussed in class. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing what some of you guys came up with as well.